Everyone, and thank you for joining today's SMECast, this month's event as part of our Learning Tree project management community. Today's event will be a discussion and Q&A with Learning Tree's project management and Agile curriculum dean, Hamid Al-Gab, on the topic of building a well-balanced project team. First, I just wanted to briefly introduce you to the project management community and the features available to you if you haven't already explored them. Everything that you need to get started is available in your My Learning Tree account under the Memberships tab. So the first thing you'll do is log into your My Learning Tree account, go to the My Memberships tab, and from there you'll be able to register for upcoming events. You'll also be able to join our LinkedIn community group, and there's also a collection of curated on-demand micro-learning resources available for you if you're interested in honing your project management and Agile skills that way. So if you haven't already logged into your My Learning Tree account and viewed the membership resources available, please go ahead and do that at whenever you have a chance to do that. Next, we're just going to briefly show you the Anywhere platform. If you've ever taken a Learning Tree course virtually, you're going to be familiar with this platform. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see the PowerPoint. At the top of the screen, you'll see me and our SME for the day, Hamid. And on the left-hand side is our chat pod. As we're going through this conversation today, if you come up with any questions or if you've already come armed with your own questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat pod. I'll make sure that Hamid gets those questions and we'll get an answer for you right away on that. So next, it's my privilege to introduce you to Hamid, our SME for the day. Hamid, like I said, is Learning Tree's curriculum dean for all things project management and agile. He has over 25 years of experience as an educator on topics like project and program management, agile development, systems engineering, information technology, operations and technical support, and more. He's guided thousands of students to reach their professional goals in this space, including me. I can vouch for him. So we're really excited to have him here with us today. So thanks so much for being with us today, Hamid.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you very much.
All right, very good. So we can get started here. We can dive right in. Let's see here. So first of all, what do you consider, what is a project team, Hamid?
Thank you very much for this intro and welcome everybody to this session. So to talk about a team or a project team, there are many ways to define that. Like if you look at the project management body of knowledge guide published by the PMBOK, they define a team, a project team, as a group of people that will help you, the project manager, do the work of the project to achieve the goals of the project. That sounds like a good definition. However, it really doesn't say anything about the team aspect. It says that it's a group of people. There's a very big difference between a group of people coming in to do some work and a true team. When we talk about the team, there is like the essence of a team is about what they call usually complementarity. It's different people coming in with different skill sets that complement each other, that really synchronize each other, and where the outcome of all of them together is bigger than the outcome of each one of them when you add them up like that. So for example, if you have a group of people, or a group of 5 people working, and they produce, each one of them, 1 pound of work, therefore the outcome of this group is going to be 5 pounds of work, let's say, per day. But if you have a true team, it should be more than 5 pounds of work, because of the complementarity, because of the work that they do together, because of the help that they give together. And also, the team is not a constant thing. It actually evolves. You start from scratch with having a group of people always, but then it goes through different stages. And when you are very good, when you have the right environment, when you are really practicing true leadership, you can get to the stages where you have a real team now that's produces a lot. And you can also see examples of that in in other than projects. For example, if you look at sports teams, the good ones, the professional ones, they spend like lots and lots and lots of resources trying to get to this stage of the team where really they complement each other. If you take, for example, I usually use when I talk about sports, I usually use the example of soccer because that's the only sport I know very well. Today, a few days ago, Messi got the golden thing like as the best player in the world. Soccer is played as 11 versus 11. If I give you 11 Messis today and you play at that level, you're not going to win very, very many games because having good people is not necessarily a team. What you need is you need a Messi to be in the role of Messi, but you need a very, very good goalkeeper and a very good defenders and a very good this. And then not only good, but you need to work with them for a long time to synchronize their things. And they have to get to a point where they can start really predicting each other's moves. That's when you have a real team.
Complementary skills and competencies that make up a really balanced team. What are those skills and competencies that you think are needed for a truly balanced project team?
Wow, I didn't know you were going to ask me hard questions, Jennifer. No. Yeah. Now, this is a very, very good question. Like there are lots of skills and competencies that you need in a true team. And again, we can talk about some of them, and it's a process. Again, as you go on, you will need more and more of them. To start with, the biggest and the most important, in my experience, is communication. Communication, communication, communication. Because we mess up so much because of miscommunication or because of non-communication. And a lot of times it's the misunderstanding. So if you really work on communication skills and you understand your team and you understand each other and you really try to go down to the way, because people communicate differently and they take the output in a different way. So you cannot just have one way of communication and assume everybody is communicated with. So communication is a key, and again, it's a skill that you learn as you go on. You can learn it. You can practice. You can get coaching. You can learn from other people who are very, very good at this. But the key is to always make sure people have the information that they need to do their job the right way. Now, along with that, as a second thing, in my opinion, again, these are just my opinion, is transparency. People really, there's a big problem when some people know certain things and some others don't know. In a working team, you need to be transparent. Things should be out there. People need to have the information. It has to be put in a place where whenever they need it, they can access it very, very quickly, and it should be always there for them. Now, what really makes a team is involvement also. Like for example, people don't commit to certain things. They don't like to commit unless they are involved in providing the solution to those things. People like to show that they can actually do the work. So if they're not involved in providing the solution, let's say if you are a project manager or a leader, and let's say you're very, very good. You're better than everybody, which by the way is not always the case, but let's assume you are. And you go to your office and you lock yourself up and you come up with the best way to do the work. And then you go out and you try to shove it through people's throats. You know what you get? You're going to get, everybody's going to give you whatever they think is enough to get you off their backs. And that's it. You're not going to get full work. There are other things, for example, things like, because we're dealing with people here. If you lock yourself, if you close your eyes and you pick two people from any part of the world and you put them in the same room for more than 15 minutes, what do you think is going to occur? some kind of conflict is going to happen because we're people. So another thing that's very important is to really have an atmosphere where you can actually manage conflict. And the best way to manage conflict is to confront it. Confront it, but don't confront the people, confront the issues. And also have like basically agreement before, like when we are in peacetime, before the wars start, let's all sit together as a team and decide how are we going to deal with this kind of things. Again, like when we go back to sports, you don't wait until you're in the middle of the game and somebody commits a foul and then you say, oh, let's see how are we going to deal with this foul, and then start fighting about it. You're never going to get anywhere. But if we are in peacetime saying, hey, when we work together, if this thing happen, here is how we can deal with it. If this other thing happen, here's how we can deal with it. And the best way is to have, again, the team involved in setting up those kind of things. Then you can actually get someone. There are many, many other things. Personally, one of the things that I learned through all the years is it starts with the belief that everybody in the team has something to contribute. If you don't believe that, you will never get to a team. You have to start with that belief. No matter who they are, everybody can contribute something. And if they're not doing it, it's because we did not, we all of us together, we did not create enough of an environment that will allow that to happen. I think if we start believing with that, I think we can all make lots and lots and lots of progress towards really good team. There's also one last thing that I'm going to mention in here. It's the decision making. How are we going to make decisions? Because we are going to work together. We're going to do a lot of things together, and we're going to have to make decisions. And again, if you work in an environment where you, the PM, or you, the leader, or some people are always making a decision for the team, it doesn't work. We need to have a way where people actually are making decisions, they're participating in the decision-making process. There's a lot more of these skills that are needed and to get a truly balanced team, but I think this is a good start. Maybe people, if they have any questions about this, then we can follow up in this discussion.
This discussion that you think of, pop in your mind, pop them in the chat pod, and we'll answer them as we go along. So the next question here that I have, and this sort of goes back to our sports analogy, right? Because if you have a soccer team, you can have a team, but you don't maybe have a very effective team if you don't have forwards or goalie. You know, there's certain roles that are critical to the success of say a soccer team. Are there any roles that you think are critical to have that every project team should have?
Roles, yeah, of course. There are a lot of roles. I think, you know, when we look at the leadership models, for example, the Mitzberg management leadership model mentions this kind of roles that need to be present in every team. And what he talks about is, he said, every team has to have a lead. Now, when I say lead, it doesn't mean it's a person. It doesn't mean Jennifer is our leader. It means that we need to have a lead constantly, all the time, but that as a role. But that role can be played by different people in different phases of our progress. Okay? And he also said that every team has to have a liaison kind of role, somebody who liaisons and stuff like that. He also talks about a figurehead for the team. He talks about a monitor for the team, a disseminator for the team, a spokesperson for the team. I think he also mentions things like a resource allocator for the team, an entrepreneur for the team, somebody who really takes risks and manages them and things like that. He talks about a negotiator, and then he talks about a disturbance handler. Now, these roles Like I might went through, I think there are 10 roles that he mentions in his model, but you don't have to have 10 people. These roles, many of them can be performed by the same person. But also you don't want the same one person to do all the 10 roles, because then you don't have a team, you have one person. So you may have, like, somebody can be the liaison and the figurehead for some period of time, and then they drop and somebody else picks up something, and so on and so forth. But these are what needs to be in a team for the team to keep actually progressing and functioning and doing all it can. Now, when you talk for example, with about the life cycle model, if you talk about the agile pushes very, very much this cross functionality in a team. Agile, we believe that a team has to have inside of it all the competencies necessary to do the job. And it should be cross-functional. Even people have to be actually trained, or as we go on, we start with certain things, but as we go on, we learn about other things, and we actually build this cross-functionality in the team. I think that's it for the roles, I think. Thank you.
Project team.
Wow, that's a great question. Vision is really what differentiates between managing and leading. Manager usually will actually manage resources and monitor and control and basically use processes and procedures for the team. But the leader, before they do anything, they actually work on the vision, and the vision is like the like the like if you when you come into a team the first time, when the group is formed, you're going to have people pulling in many different directions. Somebody going left, somebody right, somebody this, somebody this, somebody that. And you need to basically align them all to be going in the same direction. The first condition for that is to show them where they should be going. If you want me and Jennifer and Heidi and Krista and Laura to be going in the same direction, you have to tell us where. If you tell us we all want to go to New York, obviously we're all gonna head north and start going. But if we don't know that, every one of us is going to have their own interpretation about where do we want to end up, and I will be going south, and Jennifer is going to be going north, and somebody's going to go west and east, and so, and it's never going to work. So that's the role of the vision. It's really the first thing is to show everybody where we're trying to get. That's the first thing, but that's not enough. It's also plays the role of describing the future state that we would like to end up in, but it has to be described in a way that every one of us see what's in it for us. That's when you start bringing in people. If I don't see anything in it for me, again, I'm going to do just enough to get you off my back. If you want my 110% effort, I need to see something that's good enough for me also in it. And then also this vision have to be, because we're talking to people, it should not be written by a machine. It has to be expressed with emotions, where people actually can recognize that and see it and say, wow, I want to be involved with this project. I want to be involved with this effort. I want to be part of this. And maybe the last thing I want to say about that, it has to be also very short and sweet and clear and precise enough. You cannot give me a vision in like a book or in like 20 pages of reading. No. And usually when I talk about this, people tell me, but Hamid, my project is very, very big. It's very complex, and I cannot do it in one sentence or two. And then I always use the example of President Kennedy when he said, "I believe this nation should commit itself to landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth before the end of this decade." That's a very short, that's a very clear. And I have never seen a project that's bigger than that, at least in my lifetime. Okay? And in addition to that, when President Kennedy made that speech, he had no idea that it was possible to do within a decade. No idea. He didn't say, "I have a plan, and here is my plan, and do this." No. He just said, "Here is my vision." And because it was such a great vision, it did actually rally the best of the best of what this nation had to offer. And it happened, and it happened within time, which is really cool. That's the power. Now, obviously, our projects are not going to be like that, but that's the kind of thinking that we have to have when we're talking and thinking about providing a vision to the project. I think that's
Understanding of how their contribution impacts that vision too.
yes. Oh, definitely, of course, and that's why they cannot actually define that if the vision is not there,
Exactly, yeah.
or if the vision is not clear, or if it's expressed by a machine that has no emotion, that doesn't attract them at all, or if it's not very clear. So many things. So vision is great, but it has to be done the right way also. And also, don't do it by yourself. Don't lock yourself in office and do it. Get out there and work with the team and brainstorm and talk about these things and talk about what's important about this, and collectively you can actually build this vision. And when you do it collectively, you're not only getting the vision, but now you're getting the involvement also, which I talked about before. You are involving them in providing what needs to be done. And then your job, if you're the leader, is to make sure you're guiding them towards alignment with creation of value to your organization and to the customers. You don't want them to come up with the greatest vision that has no value or that produces something that has nothing to do with the organization. You want to make sure it's aligned with the organizational strategy.
Very good, very good. We have gotten a question in the chat pod here, and this sort of goes back to something that we were talking about a couple of minutes ago with the disturbance handling and resolving conflict. But do you have any ideas or suggestions for confronting conflict when the source of the conflict might be a program manager who has a tendency to yell or demotivate staff on team calls?
Or just fire them. It's very easy. Fire this guy. No, no. I think that's a very good question. First of all, very good. But again, I think what you need to do is probably with people like that, you need to work around them. You need to work with the team first, and maybe build a coalition with the team. Make sure that the team actually understand what we're dealing with, trying to build that, and then maybe, I don't know, maybe like sometimes relationships are important. If this person, if you know anybody else in the organization that this person listens to or respects or something like that, maybe you want to get them involved. Maybe you want to, like lots of things. It depends on the particulars of the situation, how to deal with this. But it is a hard one. But I think there are some things that you can start building around the team, maybe around other teams. If it's a program manager, that means they may have other projects also underneath them. So the more you build your coalition, and the stronger it is. And again, with objectivity, though, don't make it a political game and stuff like that. The one thing that you don't want to do, for example, is you don't want to go to their boss very quickly, because I have to tell you, management protects itself in any organization. So you're not going to get anywhere just by doing that. You need to ensure, and the best is to try to talk to this person slowly, and hopefully you can bring them to the realization that it's in the interest of everybody and the project and the organization to drop this kind of behavior. If it gets to be, yelling and stuff like that, if it gets to be violent, then you should talk to HR.
Great advice. Yep. So back to really communication and transparency, like you were saying at the very beginning of this call, those are huge factors in the success of a team, especially around these conflicts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question here I have is about participation. So how can project managers encourage active participation within the team? And do you have any, is there anything that is maybe different about that when you're dealing with virtual teams versus co-located teams?
Well, I think we talked about that a little bit, and it's really the participation. The first thing is that vision. The vision. If you want people to participate, you have to get them involved. Get them involved in the vision, get them involved in everything that we do. People love to participate in things. But if they don't participate, what does it mean? It really, most of the time, it means that we didn't touch them enough. We didn't basically get what's important to them. We're not bringing them on board. So the question is, we have to keep asking ourselves. We can communicate with them. We can talk to them. We can open up. We can actually brainstorm. We can talk to them. We can make sure the vision is very good. The vision also has to be expressing again what's in it for them, and we have to keep bringing that up all the time. People actually, they like to participate. They like accomplishments. People are always about recognition and accomplishment. And recognition, I'm talking about recognizing the behavior, not the rewards that you get because you are good in this and this. Recognition is about the entire behavior. So it's always good to recognize contributions, but also it's always good to, if you want success, to really recognize team performances versus individual performances. Always push this team concept. Always reinforce the team concept. And as a leader, you need to really start with people who have the necessary skills. They have the ability to actually participate in this, and then create the environment necessary for them and trust them. Trust is a very, very, very big issue in project work and in teamwork. If you don't trust people, my advice is actually give them, first of all the necessary support. Work very, very, very hard to really get down to what you think they need, and really help them, train them, coach them, do everything that you need to do. At the end of the day, if you do all of this and they're still not trustworthy, maybe they should be removed to something else. And that's also a very good trait of a good leader. A good leader is not somebody who buys in anything. A good leader is somebody who can remove people and find them another place where they can contribute better. We mentioned the virtual teams. Virtual teams are what we learned actually from COVID, right? COVID is teaching us that, I've known companies, for example, that have tried to go online for more than 15 years, and they do a little bit and back and little bit and back and this and this and this, and then COVID came, and within 1 weekend they were or 2 weeks they were functioning perfectly online, virtually the whole team is online and things like that. So virtual is great, but it has the advantages. First of all, we used to look at virtual just from the point of view that it requires a lot of communication, extra communication. Of course, it does. It requires constant reaching to the people. It requires very good technology so that you can actually have some kind of true communication with people and things like that. But we didn't look at the advantages. Now people are coming in and seeing that there are many advantages. For example, the biggest one I can think of is now you can use expertise no matter where it is in the world. We used to, when we didn't have virtual work, if you want the very good architect, you're limited to where you live. Like here in the Washington area, you can hire people from around here. But now with the virtual world, you can hire an architect in California or in France if you want to, or in India, wherever you want. Wherever you find the best expertise in the world, you can actually bring them in. The other advantage of a virtual team is now you can function almost 24 hours. If you have people all over the world, you can be functioning all the time. Other things is you can save, like on office space, on travel, on things like that. Other things is you can offer people who have less mobility. You can offer them actually position and stuff like that without much trouble. So there's a lot of good advantages. However, communication. It's very, very hard. And we can digitize a lot of things. We can digitize the work, the talking together, the documents and stuff like that. But how can you digitize trust, for example? Trust. How can you digitize caring? How can you digitize creativity? How can you digitize dedication? How can you digitize honesty, empathy, love? All these things are necessary for the formation of a great team, and those cannot be digitized. So you need to really always reach out and try to create that environment of people getting together. Today I am here at our Learning 300 office. I'm teaching a real class where I have people in the classroom. And this is the first time in 2 years, and I think, or 2 years and a half. Since COVID came, I was teaching from home, doing all my work from home. This week, and I can tell you, there is a big difference. There's a huge difference. I like teaching from home. My wife hates it because every break I am out there asking her to give me more food. She's very, very happy this week that I'm out of the house. But really connecting with the students, seeing what's going on, seeing the faces, seeing the body language, like joking with them like real life, like taking the break with them and talking about some other things and stuff. It's a different experience. So but again, it's a world that we're not going to avoid. We just need to find better ways on how to deal with these issues.
Their team.
Wow. Trust. Empowerment is all about trust. Building the trust, having a vision, and then trust. Vision, trust, and really when you talk about empowerment goes with accountability. People have to, it's really the same, it's two faces of the same coin, empowerment and accountability. You cannot hold people accountable if they're not empowered. And really, in today's world, it's even more important. Like 20 years ago, we could live with projects where we plan for them today and expect the outcome to be there, the result 2 years from now or 3 years from now. We can no longer live with that. The world around us has always been changing, always. But the pace and the speed of change now is so high that people want things now and they want them right now. So if you have a team that is not empowered to make decisions, when they have to make them, you're wasting opportunities. You're wasting opportunities for the project, for the organization, and then you are also like turning off these people because they get tired of us of seeing. They see it. They see an opportunity here, and if they were empowered, they can take advantage of it right now and advance them. But because they're not empowered, they have to go ask their leader, who's gonna go ask the PM, who's gonna go ask the director, who's gonna go ask this. And by the time all this thing is done, those opportunities are gone. They don't wait for you. And people do it once and twice and three times, and then they get turned off, and then they don't ask anymore, and they just don't do it anymore. So empowerment is a key. That's why, for example, in Agile, this is a non-discussed issue. Teams are empowered, and they are also self-organizing teams. In other words, in Agile, you never tell the team how to do the work. You just tell them what needs to be done, and they, in a self-organizing way, decide what is the best way to achieve that. And they're fully empowered to make decisions on a regular basis to keep advancing. So empowerment is the key, and to do it, you need to trust the team. Because the reason we don't empower is because we don't trust. And we don't trust because we didn't build that trust in. See, that's the stuff that real leaders and real managers are made of. A lot of us, including myself, we learn management the wrong way. We learn it from people who don't do it the right way. When I was made PM the first time in my life, I didn't know all this stuff. So I kept actually writing code. And when people tell me, why are you doing that, Hamid? They said, oh, because I'm a hands-on kind of manager. I was lying. I was doing that because I didn't know this. I didn't know what to do. But that's the kind of stuff that real leaders have to do to build effective teams. Well, environment, yeah, of course. I mean, like we talked about leadership, okay? Engagement, we talked about that. But there's like things like accomplishment, we talked about that. Recognition, I think I talked about that. Appreciation, belonging, sense of belonging, people like that in a team. Uh, Career growth. People want something that helps them grow in their career. And last but not least is enjoyment and fun. People hate to work in atmospheres where it's not fun, when they're not having fun. And all of this is part of your job as a PM and as a true leader to provide all this environment. I'm talking about this team environment. In addition to this, you also have to provide the necessary workspace, the necessary equipment. A lot of times we make bad decisions and we hold on for example, a team member wants a new computer, and that's $1,000 budget item, and we go crazy about that. While if we do those kind of investment, we get so much more within few months from those people. People need the tools, the right tools to do their job. They need the tools to make them feel that they're actually have everything in their world to actually do the job that they have to do. But again, the most important things I think are the engagement that I talked about, the decision making. Make sure that they are involved in the decision making process and those kind of things. But maybe one more thing that I should mention in the environment is diversity, because we live in a diverse world, and I'm talking here about diversity of experience, of expertise, of gender, of age, of personality, of beliefs, of demographics. You know, even if you don't like diversity, good luck finding a team today where you're all the same and you're all the same age and you're all the same personality and you're all the same experience and it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So this actually brings richness to the team. But it's up to you again as the leader to really dig in and take advantage of that and make sure it works for the benefit of the project, the team, the organization, and everything else. Actually, and the way you do that is you need to get kind of educated about different ways to deal with people, different cultures, different personalities, different communication skills, communication ways. You know, we have people who are coming into the workforce now. My kids, for example, they don't communicate other than text. That's all they communicate with, texting. And I don't know any organization that's set up that have in their system a way to deal with texting. Maybe Google has that, I don't even know, but most organizations don't deal with that. But that's what the kids do. Good luck trying to get my kid to answer an email, for example. They don't know what an email is. It's an email, so what? What is that? If you don't text them, forget it. So all these kind of things, you know, we have to think about them and work them. The other thing is, you know, talking about kids. I brought one of my kids once to Learning Tree, and they went upstairs and they saw all those cubicles, and he said, Dad, you mean people come here and they spend 8 hours sitting in these cubicles? I said, yeah, and he couldn't understand it. He says, really? Like these kids, they want to work. It's not they don't want to work, but they want to work wherever they want. They want to work in their house or in their yard or in the pool or in the park or in a coffee shop. And technology gives them that right. But we don't have the structures in our organizations, in our teams to actually deal with that. And we need to create those kind of structures. Otherwise, we're going to miss the point again.
And finally, just to let you know, um, once we finish this event in the next week or so, you'll be able to find the recording of this event in your My Learning Tree account, just like I mentioned at the beginning of this event. You'll be able to find that if you scroll down in the memberships tab in your My Learning Tree account, you'll be able to find it down there. So again, I just encourage you all to log in to your My Learning Tree account and view that on-demand learning where you'll find this and much more. Okay, once again, Hamid, I just want to thank you for this lively conversation. This has been really insightful for me, and I'm sure for we're getting a thank you from the chat pod here. So thank you so much. And everybody on the call, we look forward to seeing you in our LinkedIn community, getting a couple more thank yous. Yep, looks like you were well received here, Hamid.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so
Thank you all. Thank you all the participants, and thank you, Jennifer, for hosting this and asking these great questions. Thank you very much.
absolutely. Okay, well, thanks everyone, and have a great day and happy holidays.
Thank you.